I'm here to talk about my calling throughout the diaconate program and throughout my life. But I really don't see it as a calling. I see it as more of a following and being guided along the way. I've been told, interestingly enough, my great-grandfather was a United minister in England. And my father, he became Catholic when he married my mother. And so consequently, I was a cradle Catholic. Because my father converted, he was very, very strong in his faith. My mother was also strong in her faith as well. But the church was really a focal part of their life, and a lot of their entertainment and activities were involved with the church. And I must say that missing Sunday Mass was just not an option. If you could breathe, you went to Mass. And that's how it was for our whole life, and it was never questioned. At the age of 10, my best friend died from leukemia. And I remember having a choice of being upset and forlorn and sad, or listening to God's promise that there's a better place and he's in heaven and he's happy and he's joyful. And so the option for me was to pick the second because it sounded much more appealing than the first. And at the age of 14, I got in a farming accident, which left me with my left arm being amputated, which again seemed to be rather devastating. But again, I had the blessing to go to Toronto to 6 Children's Hospital, and seeing all those kids there that really did have serious situations where they were going to be struggling their entire life, and yet they were happy. And that was another real learning curve for me, and it was another path that I was sent down, unknowing to me, that kind of had me thinking in different ways. And at the age of 17, I went to our parish priest and I asked if I could join the priesthood, which he took all of 10 seconds to say no. And that was because I had one arm, and they would not accept me at that point in time. But it turned out again, it was another blessing, because very shortly after that, I met this beautiful person, and we ended up getting married, having children, and it's been a wonderful part of my life that I just can't explain another vocation that's just been so very fulfilling. At one point in time, when our children were older and actually leaving the house, my wife came out with this little pamphlet. I was in the parking lot talking to a lot of the parishioners before everybody went home after Mass. And it was about the diaconate, and I had no idea what the diaconate was, not a clue. And I remember promptly putting the pamphlet in my pocket and said, I'll look at it later. And about 10 minutes later, when everybody was kind of leaving at that point in time, the parish priest came out, and he had the same little pamphlet. Well, I already had one, I didn't need to. And I told him I would look at it, and I thanked him. And by chance, that was the day that they had the Right to Life walk in Chatham. And as I was walking around the area, I met up with this other priest who said, you really should consider the diaconate. And I guess 3 times in one day was just a little too coincidental. So I actually did look into it, and I did apply. But very shortly after that, Father Sam Johnson asked if I wanted to go on a retreat to Colombia with him and a bunch of other people. And I must say that was a life-changing experience for me. And that's when I really realized that all this writings, all the readings you have in the Bible, the Gospels, God's existence, it's all real. It's all real, not to be questioned. It really happened, and Jesus did what he said he did, where he died for us on the cross, for our salvation. And for that, me was quite a moving experience, one that I've always had with me. And I thank God for that particular time, because when I was going through the diaconate, and once I was accepted, going through the diaconate, my mentor asked me a question. He said, what makes you different than anyone else? Like, you're going through the diaconate, and what makes you different than any other parishioner? And I remember pausing for a long time, and I didn't have an answer. And quite frankly, I still don't have an answer, because I don't see a lot of difference between what I do and what every parishioner out there is to do to fill the baptismal promise. And that's to be a disciple of Jesus, to love God and to help others. And right now, I think more than ever, now I'm starting to feel more of a calling. And that calling is to surrender and to help people, to help in the ministry and help people to see who God is and how God can help them in their lives. So with that, as usual, I call on God to help me through that and fulfill that wish, that promise, that baptismal promise that I have. And again, by listening to the prophets and reading the Bible or the Gospels, through following the commandments of God, listening to the Virgin Mary, and pray the rosary each and every day, fast, and accept the good and the bad, because God has our best long-term interest at heart. That is to be with him for all eternity. So no matter what happens, praise the Lord anyway, because Jesus, I trust in you. May God bless.